Hi, welcome to another essay writing video. In this video, we're going to look at how to start sentences in your essay. If you find this video helpful, I encourage you to visit my websites at www.ielts-ielts.com and www.englishryan.com. Also, please rate and comment on my videos. Okay, so I've included here a breakdown of an argument essay, and I thought that we could just look at the different sections together, and I could suggest to you some stock phrases that you can use in these sentences when you go to write your essay. So firstly, as we can see here, there's three separate paragraph types. The first is an introduction paragraph, followed by two supporting paragraphs and a conclusion paragraph. The introduction paragraph, if you've watched the videos I've made before, acts as a bit of an outline for what the rest of the essay is going to talk about. So firstly, within this paragraph we have four different sections: the background, the detailed background, the thesis, and the outline. So I often get questions from people asking, well, how are the sentences different and how can I write them? So when we go to write the background and the detailed background, we're just trying to give an overall idea of the general topic that we're talking about. So the background, we might start with some phrases such as today. And then we would go on from there. So today such and such is happening and this is a big problem, or today such and such is happening and this is a trend, or whatever. Or perhaps we might start with as is commonly understood. So if your essay question is asking about a certain topic, you might start with, well, as it is commonly understood, and then proceed to talk about that topic in general terms. Another you might want to start with is, it is common today. It is common today, and then just go from there. So these are three different ways you can start your background sentence. Now the detailed background sentence takes the broad information that we've brought up in the background sentence and it narrows it. So we're starting to pinpoint what our thesis is going to be. So some ways to begin your detailed background sentences could be, this can be seen. So this can be seen. So firstly, if we started with a sentence, today such and such is happening and it's happening all over the world. This can be seen mostly in, and then wherever you're talking about, Shanghai, Dubai, whatever. Another potential sentence could be, this has been seen in, or perhaps even, this is nowhere more evident than. Oops, I think I'm coming out of the screen. So here are some sentence starters that we can use to start our detailed background sentence. Now the thesis is the most important sentence in the essay because it is giving our direct opinion, or the direct the sentence that we want to prove in the essay. It's what the entire essay is trying to say. So often the thesis has to be said in a very strong manner so that there's no question in the reader's mind what your position is. So some ways to start your thesis would be such as, it is believed, or it is argued, or even it will be shown. And this is sort of referring to what's going to happen in the rest of the essay. I always encourage the people that I'm coaching for essays not to, as much as possible, not to use the words you, I, we in the essay. Instead, try to phrase it with it. So instead of saying, I believe, I argue, I will show you, we would use phrases like, it is believed, it is argued, it will be shown. Just a nicer way to stylize your essay. Now finally, when you get to your outline sentence, this is where you want to bring up 2 points that will support your thesis. So we might start this sentence by saying something like, this will be proven by analyzing, and then we'd go on to state point number 1 and point number 2. So this will be proven by analyzing this and this, or this will be shown by taking into account. This will be shown by taking into account, and then again 1 and 2. Let's move the screen over a little bit so we can see. So this will be shown by taking into account this and this. Okay, now moving on to the supporting paragraph. So these, in most essays there's at least 1 supporting paragraph, sometimes 2, 3, even 4. But the supporting paragraph's job is to support and prove what you've said in your thesis. And it includes 4 separate sections. Firstly, a topic. And if you watched the videos before, you know that this topic is one of the points that you brought up in your outline in this section here. So one of these 2 points you brought up in the outline, you're going to state in the topic. It includes an example, a discussion, and a conclusion. So now if we look at the top up in the outline, you're going to state in the topic. It includes an example, a discussion, and a conclusion. So now if we look at the topic, some phrases we can use to start the topic would be such as firstly, or looking first at, and every supporting paragraph also has an example from real life that helps to prove what you're saying in the topic. And examples can be brought up by saying things like, obviously, for example, or for instance, or even if you'd like to phrase it, take, and then whatever your example is, and then for instance. So if your example is Shanghai, you would say, take Shanghai, for instance. Okay, and then on to the discussion. Now the discussion is a little bit more difficult because you have to kind of use your brain to link your example to your topic. But some phrases that you might find useful, that you might be able to use in here for your discussion, could be something like this example clearly shows, and then whatever. This example clearly shows, or perhaps it is obvious. It is obvious when looking at this example that. Let's move this over a little bit. So it is obvious when looking at this example that, or even this example makes it clear that, this example makes it clear that, and then whatever. Or when looking at this example, there is no doubt that. I'm sorry, the text is not wrapping, so you can't really see it so well. When looking at this example, there is no doubt that, and then go on to say whatever you'd like. The conclusion for the supporting paragraph. The conclusion is trying to link the discussion, or sorry, I'm trying to link our topic for this paragraph back to the thesis to kind of keep everything together. So some phrases you can use to start your conclusion might be something like, it is obvious that this links to the thesis. You could go on to say, it is obvious that this, or from this, it can be concluded that, and then you would state the link between the topic and the thesis. From this it can be concluded that this links to this links to the thesis. Or something like, thus, there is an obvious link between this and this. Now coming down to the conclusion paragraph. So the conclusion paragraph, it includes 3 sections. There's a summary, which just talks about what we talked about in supporting paragraph 1 and supporting paragraph 2. There's a restatement of thesis, which is saying what we said in the thesis again, but using different words. And then we include a prediction or a recommendation. So in the summary, we might use something like, after analyzing the areas of, and then after analyzing the areas of 1 and 2, so the topic supporting paragraph 1, the topic supporting paragraph 2, or following the analyzing of supporting paragraph 1, supporting paragraph 2. Now the restatement of thesis is pretty straightforward. You're just taking your thesis and stating it again, and you don't really need a lead-in phrase for this, but you can use one. Here's some examples. So perhaps you might start with, as has been proven, and then whatever your thesis is. Or maybe it has now been shown, or even as has been shown. Now the prediction and recommendation is also quite straightforward. You could start with, it is expected that, or it is predicted that, just to start those phrases. Okay, so there's a number of stock phrases that you can use to help start your sentences in your essay. Thank you for listening.